Hey, what's up, guys? This is my video I'm going to make about how to leverage trade and exactly what it is. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to start right from scratch and tell you what leverage trading is. So it's basically just being able to borrow money whenever you want from an exchange. So like for example, if you have $10 and you have the option to go up to 50x leverage and you go to 20x, that would be $200 that you get to trade with. But since it's a 20x, if you go down 5% on your trade, your full position gets liquidated. So that $10 that you initially had, it would be completely gone and you would be out of the trade. So it's very important to know exactly how to leverage trade before you really get into it. So I'm glad you're watching this video. So how do you prevent getting liquidated? What I do is I'm just used to it by now, but let's just say you were doing 50x leverage. That's what most exchanges go up to. That would be 2% down on your trade that you would get liquidated. And like if you do 33x leverage, that would be 3% down on your trade would be your liquidation price. The mathematical equation really is just 100 divided by whatever leverage you're using. 100 divided by 50, that's 2%. 100 divided by 10, that's 10%, and etc. On lighter decks, if you go to chart elements, you can turn on the liquidation price line. So when you actually enter your trade, it'll show what price you would be liquidated at. If you enter this trade here at 75,479, and I have 50x leverage, then it would have to go down all the way to 73,958 for me to get liquidated. So let's just say you wanted to enter a trade here and then take profit at this low. You would be fine doing a 50x leverage, but it is still a little risky. So you could just lower it down to 40x, and then your liquidation line would get lowered down for a lower risk liquidation trade. And getting liquidated doesn't happen often if you know how to leverage correctly. So you just want to anticipate like a sharp move happening right at that TP or your stop loss. Make sure your liquidation price is lower, much lower than that. You don't ever want to get liquidated. That is bad. Most exchanges will offer the isolated or cross margin modes like hyperliquid and lighter decks. The difference between the two is cross will basically make it so when you're about to get liquidated, it uses the rest of the money in your whole account to make sure you don't get liquidated. It uses it as collateral, which is terrible because if you're a beginner, you might lose your whole account just from one trade. Isolated makes sure that if you were to get liquidated on the trade that you're in, that it doesn't affect any other balance in your account. It just affects how much money you put into that trade. So I always use isolated. I definitely recommend it. Another thing is if you're on lighter decks, you get the option to get the simple account type or unified account type. It really doesn't matter which one you use because you're probably only going to use this platform for perps trading. If you were to stick with simple, it basically just keeps your spot account and your perps account separate so you don't get messed up. The unified trading account combines the two so you don't have to change anything, but I keep it as simple. I keep all my money in perps, but if you wanted to change it from perps to spot and buy spot, you just go down here, click this, and then you just click this switcher, and then you can switch your USDC in the perps account to the USDC in your spot account as much as you want. So pretty cool. And Hyperliquid has the same thing. They recommend just getting the unified account, and the simple account is basically the manual option right here. What leverage should you use? It really just depends on where your stop loss is and your take profit. Let's just say you entered here in this range here and you were bullish, so you went long and you had a nice 3% gain you were looking for at this high of the range, but you have this 3% to the downside as well. So if your stop loss is down here and you have a 50x leverage, you're going to get liquidated at 2% right there. So if you wanted to make sure you didn't get liquidated, you would have to lower that leverage down to about 25x so that it's a 4% liquidation, so that your liquidation line is right here instead of right here, so that you get stopped out before you get liquidated. Another thing with getting into leverage trading is picking the right decks is pretty crucial because over time the fees do add up. Lighter decks is the only decks I know that literally has 0 fees, as you could see right here. 0 taker, 0 maker. Dexes like Hyperliquid have 0.04% and 0.01%, which is pretty much just like every other centralized exchange like Coinbase and Binance. They take a percentage as well. The way LighterDex does this is because they have a free account or a premium account. The premium account is free as well, but the free account that I use, it makes it so the latency is a little worse, but you do get the 0% fees. And the latency really doesn't make a difference. It might delay your trade by 1 or 2 seconds, but in the time that I've traded, that really means nothing compared to like the 0.04% and 0.01% that, just goes up no matter what. I do have a link for LighterDex in the description below if you want to help support me. And also if you do try to use the premium instead of the free account on LighterDex, you do get a 10% discount on your fees if you use my link below. That's pretty much it for this video. Just a little short one again. I will be going more in depth on how to mark key levels and how to find liquidation zones and all that. So I'll see you guys later.
Oh man.